and Julien. You are listening to episode 4 of the X Appeal podcast.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about today's topic.
I know you are. I know you're all juiced about it. I get it.
I'm deep.
Yeah, it's you. This is your shit, right? So, okay. You told me that I need to watch this new show called The Ultimatum.
Yeah. Have you watched Love is Blind?
Yeah, I watched the entire season last season, and I was completely addicted to it. Completely addicted.
Yeah. And let me say something, because I've always hated reality TV. I have never watched reality TV in my life. As much as I was part of one, it's always something that I didn't like. The Kardashians, would you believe me that I said I've never watched one episode?
Me either.
I've never watched any of that stuff. But I kept hearing about Love is Blind. And my girlfriend was telling me, my God, I'm obsessed with Love is Blind. It's crazy, bro. And then she told me about it. And it's something I would watch like once or twice a week when I was high as fuck on my couch. And I was like, this is great. And I actually like the show. I was like, oh, wow, I can't wait to know what happens, blah, 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 blah. Because, it's, this should be another episode. It's like, can you really, really fall in love with someone?
Yeah, that's its own. I think that should be its own episode.
But then they're doing a spinoff, and they're doing this Ultimatum show.
From the creators of Love is Blind.
Exactly.
With the same hosts, Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey.
How much money do they make off of this?
I don't know, but they're barely in They're barely in the show.
Yeah, I also love how it's like your two celebrities are giving advice on these youngsters on how to have a successful marriage. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut up. You're not a therapist. You don't know.
Although I will say this, Vanessa Lachey goes in on the reunions.
Yeah.
Doesn't she? Yeah. She attacks. She gets real vicious, and I respect the shit out of that, because I know a lot of hosts of the reunion shows, they don't go there, but she does.
Yeah, she does.
So
you have to, because that's all the juicy stuff.
She's invested.
But basically the premise of the show is couples that go in there because one person in the couple has issued an ultimatum to the other one, which is we're getting married or else. We're breaking up. And so what they do is they get paired up with somebody else, basically, another guy or another girl that seems to, on paper, be a good match with them. And then they experience marriage life with that stranger for 3 weeks to see if, I guess, the original couple is strong enough, and to see if it will make them miss their partner, or if they make them realize, oh, you know what? That's not the right person for me. I'm not going to marry them.
I just think that the only thing worse than the producers of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette franchise are the producers of Love is Blind and The Ultimatum.
Oh, the idea is insane.
Evil.
It's insane. This idea.
The level of just you're diabolical. You're just deliberately throwing gasoline on a kind of a shitty situation, I guess you could say. Going in, I mean,
people chose to go in there.
No one's not happy here.
They chose to do it, so it's like
they did. But I do think at their core, both of these franchises, they ask some pretty tough questions.
Yeah. But there's one thing about the Ultimatum that bothers me, is they're fucking 22 and 23 years old.
Okay, yeah, no, and when you're 19 and 23, I'm sorry, you know shit about life.
And it's like, oh yeah, I could see being married to you and you being a father. You're 23. You're 23 years old. There's a 90. I don't know. There's a 80% chance that the person you're with right now is not gonna. And if you do get married, there's a big probability that when you're 35, you guys will get divorced.
That's why the divorce rate is so high in this country, because people their eyes are bigger than their stomach.
And also, it also again gives this people that are watching, young people that are watching, they're watching this as in, we have to know if we want to get married together, right? If not, we're not right for each other. And it gives this thing of marriage is the end goal. And
better not watch this shit with your girlfriend, is all I'm saying.
That's what we do. We watch it together. No, we watch it together.
She could be looking at you a certain way.
No, so far so good.
It's all done.
So far so good.
So all of these couples have, well, I guess you could say two things in common. They're mostly in their early 20s.
Yeah.
B, they've been together for at least
About a
between
year.
2 and 3 years. Nope.
No, a year and a half and 2.
Okay.
Some of them
Well,
is for a year and a half.
yeah. So at that point, is it okay to issue an ultimatum? After 2 to 3 years of dating somebody and being in a committed relationship, at that point, I think it's like either you poop or get off the pooper. I think it's fair to give the ultimatum. To give the ultimatum.
You fucking psycho. Are you crazy?
What are you talking about?
After a year and a half to ask you want to get married?
Years. If you are with somebody, if you are boyfriend and girlfriend or boyfriend and boyfriend or girlfriend and girlfriend, whatever it is, and you don't see any movement, there's no conversation about, are we going to get married? What is this? Then yeah, it's time to move on. Stop wasting your life.
No.
Yes. Yes.
How are you wasting your life if you are happy with someone?
Because you're dragging your feet. If you're happy with somebody, somebody in that couple is dragging their feet.
Maybe not. Maybe both people are happy. I think you're wasting your life. You are wasting your life if you walk away from someone that you have a great relationship with just because you have this timeline on being married. And then you're going to say, well, if you don't want to marry me, I'll find somebody else who will. And you're going to marry someone just because you want to be married. And then 5 years down the line, you'll be miserable. Why not cherish something good? Who cares?
I'm sorry, but if one person wants to get married and the other person is just saying, well, let's just see how it goes. Let's just figure it out. Okay, don't string that person along then. Either you say, I don't want to get married right now, period. Or I don't see us getting married in the near future, period. At least allow them the freedom to go out and explore other options.
But so then the thing,
with your little
if you're that person giving that ultimatum, you are openly showing to your partner that marriage and the idea of marriage is more important than this physical human that you're with. You're saying I will give you up because my idea of marriage is more important than you.
Right now, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt and saying, not the benefit of the doubt. I'm saying, okay, there are, yes, as in every conversation that we've had, it is contextual. But I think that a lot of what these couples are saying, the couples who are hesitant, the person who's hesitant and is being issued the ultimatum, a lot of them are saying this: what if there's somebody else out there for me who I'm a better match with? That is 80% of the time. That's what it comes down to.
How many people are there in this earth?
There are billions of people on this planet.
You think there might be a better fit out there? Of course, there might be a better fit.
Yeah, of course, there always is. Yeah, but if you, there's always going to be somebody who's smarter or richer or better looking or more athletic or whatever, more adventurous.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. Who cares about this? Like, how is your partner making you feel? That's all that matters to me.
But if you found somebody in your world who works for you, why not put value on that and want to make that commitment? Why not? What are you waiting for, essentially?
Like you said, it might not be the right time for that person. Maybe they don't value the same thing as that person.
If they don't value the same thing as that person, then then you got to have that discussion. And this is like an existential discussion. Are we compatible for each other? Are those differences just too big for us to move past?
Yeah, I mean, that is ultimately a discussion to have. But I also feel like sometimes people have ideas in their heads of how they want things to happen and how they want things to play out and what they care for and what's like, this is really important for me. I want this. And then sometimes you meet someone and you're like, you know what? However I'm feeling with you is more important than this idea I've had of how I wanted my life to play out. Like, how many people have ideas of how their life are going to go? And then, you know how I thought my life would be so different than what it is right now.
How did you envision your life playing out?
I have no idea, but I think at 32, I thought I would be already bawling. When I was 18, I thought I would be a doctor. Then after that, I was like, oh, I'm going to work in finance. Now I'm an actor working in nightlife and I have a podcast. Like, it's literally the opposite thing of what I thought. And I think that sometimes having set ideas on what you specifically want out of a relationship can take you out of something good that you have just because you're set on something.
But if to that other person, what is important to them is that sign of commitment, well, then where does that stand with you? Where does that leave you? I mean, you're just going to not even have a discussion about it?
How are you not committed? Just because somebody, like, okay, if we take the idea of marriage, you're not committed just because
that's your own philosophy on marriage entirely. You might not look at marriage as even something that needs to happen in this day and age. And that's a completely different conversation.
And I mean, if we took marriage, I've grown from it. Like when I was 20, I had no desire to. And now I'm like, if I'm good with someone and we feel like it's the right thing for us at that moment, yeah, sure, why not? But it's just like, what I mean is like, I never grew up with, marriage was never my end goal in a relationship. It was never something that I strived for, right? Now, at where I'm at in my age, it's something like, if it happens, great. Sure. Why not? You know, if it doesn't happen, great. Sure. I'm fine either way.
They also preface this, or I don't even know who said it. It was either Vanessa or Nick, who said that an ultimatum is not the way to get what you want. And I agree with that. I don't believe in ultimatums.
No.
I don't think that they work out in that person's favor. I kind of feel like if you're issued an ultimatum, you start to immediately feel like the walls are closing in on you and that all these parameters are suddenly being put up. And I mean, you know what happens when you have rules, you want to break them.
Yeah, definitely. I think if somebody gave me an ultimatum in something, I would walk away.
An ultimatum?
I would walk away. I'd be like, cool, I'm out.
Yeah.
Even if it's the hardest thing to do, out of principle, I think I would walk
because
away.
I think that, relationships, obviously they're a two-way street. And if there's patience.
But hold on, let me ask you this then, because you're saying like, oh, you're talking about commitment. That was your main thing, right? It's like,
yeah.
You're saying, so what's commitment for you?
Well, it's commitment for me. And me, like you say, I'm shockingly progressive from where I've.
Do you feel like you're not committed? Do you feel like your man's not committed to you right now?
I'm saying if marriage is important to the one person in the relationship, marriage isn't necessarily important to me. Clearly it's not, because I have
not about commitment. That's what I'm
not
saying.
even engaged to. So, but if you are in a committed relationship with somebody who marriage is very important to,
mm-hmm.
then I don't know. I kind of feel like if you don't see yourself getting married after 2 years, if you don't even see yourself, because you can have long engagements. If you don't see yourself moving in that direction after 2 years of being in a committed relationship, then I think that you should allow that other person to move on. Because at that point, you're just kind of keeping them around.
But so so I think that works if both people ultimately individually want to get married. Care about it. So if the partner,
so in other words, if you don't have different philosophies on marriage as an institution.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. If you know for a fact your partner strive for marriage, and then within 2 to 3 years after him or her still don't know about marriage, I could understand. I was like, well, that's what you want. You don't know. I'm going to give it a bit more time, but I feel like you should know by now at least. Okay.
Okay.
Then that's two philosophies, and marriage is about, is about, like, you can definitely strive to want to be married, and that's something that's very important. I understand it, but I still raise the case that because somebody else was raised differently or don't aspire to marriage the same way another person does, it has nothing to do with their commitment. And I know it's seen this way. You don't want to get married, therefore you have an issue with commitment. Probably not. And this is like these are tough conversations I have.
But these are conversations that you have to have going into a relationship.
Yeah, but sometimes the problem is you think that, but sometimes you match with someone, you're like, fuck, fuck, I like this
You
person.
can't.
I love this person. I'm so good with him. Things are so easy. We work great. And that's the only, yes, it's a big thing that, that needs to be addressed. But that's what I'm saying. Just like, for example, I'm never necessarily, I've never cared about marriage. I could also see and understand how down the line, if I'm with someone that is so important to me, I can change my values. I could be like, you know what? This person is more valuable to me than my idea of not caring for marriage. But I also
How
feel
long
like
is it
this
going
could
to
go
take for
both
that
ways.
person to earn that place in your heart, essentially?
Yeah, but it
Is it
goes
going to
both
take
ways.
longer than 2-3 years? Like, how long is that? I mean, at that point, you're wasting somebody else's time, is what I'm saying.
Not necessarily, because that's if you see a relationship in this one-dimensional way. I feel like you can people have been together and never really planned on being married, never really planned on having kids, and they're still together 15 years down the line, and like now we live together because they didn't set any specific guidelines or milestones that they wanted to have. It just kind of happened, and they were good together, and that's all that mattered.
So I think all these relationships then that you're talking about on the ultimatum are doomed, because if one person's issuing the ultimatum, it automatically kind of.
To me, yeah. To me, if you're issuing an ultimatum, I think it's
and it's dead. Then it's already dead. And not to mention, I also kind of take issue with the idea that you're on this. Are they on like an island or some? Where are they?
I think they're in a city like Chicago or something.
Oh. So wherever it is, they're all together for a few weeks as like a trial boyfriends and girlfriends. Isn't everybody on their best behavior those first few weeks of
the honeymoon stage and whatever?
They're all there
because it's like the thing is that they move in together. They move in with somebody else while still being technically in love with their other partner, and they know that their partner's moving in with someone else. So
yeah, but okay, sure. But there's a lot of things. They're not like they're trying to press fast forward on a person's life and relationships and things that might take a while to mature.
Yeah.
It's like it's like that the day after you get a bikini wax. I mean, how good do you feel? Like I shouldn't be asking you this question, but like, how good do you feel after you come home and you're freshly waxed and you feel like new? And
waxes anymore,
and you feel sexy again, and you feel, if you're it takes a few weeks for those ingrown hairs to make their appearance.
Okay, here's the thing.
Somebody
just laser.
If you're with somebody in the full bush stage, is what I'm saying, then you know it's for life. Then you know that you have a real invested connection with somebody, and sometimes that takes months, years.
Yeah, of course.
And these people they've put in the time to get to that point in their relationship. You can't just recreate that.
No, weeks. But I still feel like you've been with someone for 2 years, and then we put you with somebody else who's technically supposed to get fit for you. And I feel like within 3 weeks, that person, if you are madly and like made for your original partner and you guys are just strong, those 3 weeks, you should technically still want to be with your partner at the end, regardless of the little flirtation that you have. Right?
I think there's already strife. I think you're coming to the table with issues already. So you're already like pissed off at your partner. Now you get to live with somebody who the show has deemed you to be extremely compatible with. So you're like shacking up with somebody new for 3 weeks when all those rules are out the window because they have to be, because you're on a show and that's the way it works. So you have license now to kind of like be your best self, be your sexiest self, and like go and explore and do things that you might not want to do with your current partner because they piss you off so much because you're now in this position. How are you going to miss somebody under those circumstances?
That's the thing. They're not pissed off. All these people are usually mostly in love with each other. They just have that one thing. And it's always like one of them would like to be married as soon as possible and have kids. And the other one's like, look, as of right now, I'm in love with you. I just can't give you that answer. So it's like, I still think they go in there and they think that, you're going to be paired up with somebody that you don't know. There's still, in my opinion, a small chance that it only reinforces your love for that person. the original.
I think that chance is very small. I guess we'll have to see as the season goes on. But
like there's this one girl who she gave the ultimatum to her man because she's like, we need to get married or I'm out. They don't even live together yet. How do you want someone to marry you? They don't know what it's like to live with you.
Yeah.
This is insane.
I mean, I agree with that. And there's also, who's the girl who's going around like looking for basically a man who's Mr. Moneybags McGee? Like, who's
my God, I know. She's a psycho, the little blonde.
Yeah.
She's a psycho. This one, she just wants somebody
bank account. And all these guys are looking at her like with like the saucer eyes because they're like, shit, I don't want to step into that landmine.
Yeah, and there's this one guy called Colby who's like, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. And then she says that he's an asshole because he told her.
Yes, because he was honest with her.
He's just being honest with you. What the fuck?
Yeah. She thought the date went. On the other hand, she thought their first date was great.
I know. That was hilarious. Did you see? Wait, is that the end of the episode? Did you see what happened to that blonde girl?
No, I didn't see what happened to her. I mean, I know that they had this. Did you watch the end of the first episode?
Yeah. I'm at like episode 6 already.
Okay. Well, you're way further than I am. I just watched the first episode.
I just forgot where it ends on episode 1 or 2 because something happens with her, and I think
I just love seeing these social experiments play out.
They're fun to watch, to be honest.
Yeah.
I still think they fucked up in a way that they took people that were too young. I would have been interesting to see 30-year-olds in there. 30s that's already dated.
Yes.
That's been in there for like 3-4 years together, 4-5 years together. Yeah. And that time is coming. Like, because at 24 or 23-year-old, I can't take you seriously. Like,
yeah. And you're like this like little 22-year-old girl who's like, I want to have babies. Give me a ring and babies now. You have so much time. Yeah. You have so much time.
So what would you do if Jared gave you an ultimatum?
If he gave me an ultimatum, I'd be like, I have your kid. You want to give me an ultimatum? Okay.
So, okay, let's take that. But like, if you were with someone, you didn't have a kid yet, and that partner gave you an ultimatum about like, let's say, for example, okay, in your case, you've already been married. You've seen what that life is about. It didn't really work out for you. So you're not really into the idea of doing it again. You're open about it or something. You've been with someone for 2-3 years. You guys are going great, but they're like, listen, we get married or we break up.
Then I would say we got to break up.
Yeah, you don't want the ultimatum, right? It just feels
I don't want the ultimatum. I don't think that's fair.
I disrespected.
Yeah. And I know that sounds hypocritical based on what I've said, but it's not like I have a philosophy on marriage. It's not like I have a it's hard. I just don't respect the idea of an ultimatum. I do feel like at the 2-3 year mark, you should know whether you want to get married to that person or not. Without the complexities of the philosophy of marriage coming into play. Yeah. Like if you're open to marriage, I feel like you would know within 2 to 3 years.
Did you see, for me, is like after 2 to 3 years, you should know if you want to have that. My thing is that you should know if you want to have a kid with that person.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my equivalent to yours.
Okay.
I agree.
So if you both agree on the philosophy of marriage and this guy issues me an ultimatum, no, I'm going to say absolutely not. I don't like the idea. So you feel, so you think that our position or our relationship is that fragile where you could just move on and forget about me.
Exactly.
Unless I marry you right now.
So, and that's exactly what I was saying. Now, the idea of what the person wants is more important than the actual person they're with. Mm-hmm. It's like, I want to get married. It's with you or it's with somebody else. How does that make you feel? I'm just like, what the fuck? We've been together for 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm replaceable like this. It's insane.
Yeah. Then how much respect do you have for me in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, yeah, it's crazy, but. So we're both
good television.
We both are anti-ultimatum.
We're both anti-ultimatum. And I think this little social experiment from Vanessa and Nick Lachey is going to fail in dramatic fashion. But we'll see.
Oh, I already have a feeling some of these guys are going to leave together.
Yeah, they might not. And they'll probably break up afterward.
Yeah.
It's kind of a... The whole concept is a little It's a little reaching for drama.
Honestly, though, it's fantastic to watch high. So I would encourage you to smoke and then.
Well, I'm not going to smoke, but I am going to. I will have a couple glasses of wine because.
Just take a gummy.
No, I don't want to. I don't like that feeling. I don't like feeling out of control. I know it's 420 coming up.
Oh, you're
everyone's going to be like stoned out of their minds in California, but I don't do that. I don't know. I don't like feeling out of control of myself.
You don't if it's dosed right.
No, that's every single time I've done an edible anything, gummy, whatever. I've always felt out of whack. Chocolates out of whack.
Really?
Yeah. No, I don't like it. Damn. And it takes forever to wear off. And it takes forever to kick in. And you're like, is it working? And then by the time it works, you're like, I don't want to be I don't want to be high right now.
That's why smoking is good, because it's just like it's within 5 minutes you kind of feel it.
Yeah, but I hate the idea of smoking anything.
Yeah. It's my girlfriend hates me now because when we started dating, I was drinking, very consistently in a way. Like we go grab drinks and stuff, and now
I didn't drink at all.
Now I'm slowly getting turned off by just alcohol. I just hate how I feel.
Me too. I hate how I feel the next day.
I hate how I feel the next day.
In the moment, though?
In the moment, it's fine, but then I'm dehydrated. And the last 2 times that I drank a little bit more than usual without being hammered, I had the worst night of sleep. It's 2 nights in a row, 2 nights where we drank that I slept like garbage.
And I was like, oh, Julien, that's what happens when you get old. That's exactly what happens.
When I smoke a little bit of weed, I have the best night of sleep.
No. I can't. I'm like maybe a 1 drink a week person now, and that's
like
really
one glass or 1 drink night.
Like I'll, if I do brunch with my girlfriends, maybe I'll do like 1 Bloody Mary or 2 mimosas.
Oh, so you barely drink alcohol too.
I mean, I was never the kind of person who would like have a glass of wine after work. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I think it's empty calories. And once I have 1 drink, I'm going to be honest, I like the buzz so much that I want to have more.
Yeah.
And then you wake up with a hangover the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I wonder how I'm French, because that's what my family, my dad does. My mom doesn't, but my dad, it's noon. We have a glass of wine with lunch.
Wow.
It's 6 p.m. It's time for a glass of beer or a glass of wine or something. And
it's great.
I used to be a bit more like this, but now I'm slowly changing that.
Now you're a pothead.
Now I'm a pothead. An Iron Man pothead. That's it.
Are we good?
Yeah, I think
we're good. I think this episode is run its course, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen on this show, because I hate that I'm addicted to it, but I am.
I'm going to finish it later today.
See you in 2 weeks.
A Huda Media Production.